It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory.
In the Big Apple, big dreams can come true, and on the season's final weekend, both New York teams have a chance to make pro football history. Only one man on the crosstown Jets even knows what a New York championship feels like. Guard Randy Rasmussen, the last remnant of the 1969 Super Bowl champions. It's been 11 years since the Jets have qualified for postseason play, and they can clinch a wild card berth at Shea Stadium if folks like quarterback Richard Todd can continue their winning ways. But their task may be nearly as difficult as the Giants, for they are facing another hungry team, the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay hasn't been to the playoffs since 1967, when Vince Lombardi was still the head coach, and the Packers can make the playoffs if they win today. So to all you New Yorkers who think you've seen everything, well, you've never seen anything like this. For the first time ever, both the Giants and Jets can clinch playoff spots in the same year. It's the greatest football weekend in New York history, as two former also-rans reach for greatness. It's a Big Apple doubleheader. The Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys, and the Jets versus the Green Bay Packers on the NFL Game of the Week. Shea Stadium, Sunday, December 20th, 1981. The wind chill factor -3 degrees. The New York Jets prepared for their most important game since 1969. If they could defeat the visiting Packers, they would secure a playoff berth for the crosstown Giants, who had defeated Dallas the day before, and for themselves. On the game's fourth play, the Jets seized the initiative. Rookie punter Ray Stackowitz had his attempt blocked, and with a first down at the Packer 11, the Jets called on their rookie, running back Freeman McNeil. McNeil's determined running got New York close, and number 33, Kevin Long, got them 6. The sparks for the Pack have been receivers John Jefferson, number 83, and his pass-catching buddy James Lofton. J.J. has brought a burst of energy to Green Bay, and Lofton has turned in an all-pro year as well. But today, the two would be rendered helpless, for the Jets had an even more impressive dynamic duo. Mark Gastineau, number 99, and Joe Klecko, number 73, the NFL's premier pass-rushing pair. Each with 18 sacks, each with a burning desire to pound the Jets into the playoffs. After his sacks, Joe Klecko merely saunters away from the scene. Gastineau, however, enacts a variety of tribal dances to celebrate his trophy. Packer quarterback Lynn Dickey cared little for either, but received both. 9 times throughout the day, he fell victim to what has been coined as the New York Sack Exchange. If the wonders of Wall Street weren't wrecking Dickey, a pair of Penn Staters were. Both are former Nittany Lion linebackers who have solidified the Jet defense. One is the recipient of the Jets' Man of the Year award, Greg Buttle, number 51. Greg Buttle is as fine a linebacker as any in the league, and his teammate Lance Mell, number 56, is quickly becoming one. Both would have made their Penn State coach Joe Paterno proud. Mell's interception gave New York the ball at the Jet 40, and 8 plays later, it appeared that they had scored once more. Great Richard Todd play action and pump faking and a super catch by Johnny Lamb Jones, number 80, were all wiped out by a holding penalty. Instead of going into quarter number 2 with a 2-touchdown advantage, the Jets would have to settle for a slim 7-point lead. Rather than unsettle the Jets, Jones' erased touchdown seemed to inspire them. Leading by 7-3 early in the second quarter, the New Yorkers unleashed a beast of a drive downfield. Moving 80 yards in 21 plays in a drive that ate up most of the entire quarter, New York caught a real break on a play where Richard Todd hit Bruce Harper for a 12-yard gain. Harper had the ball jarred loose, but the referees ruled that he was down before the fumble. Watch and decide for yourself. With 2 minutes to play, Harper was called on to finish the 10-minute march downfield. This time, there would be no fumble. The Jets now led 14-3 with time running out in the first half. On a frozen field where Buffalo's O.J. Simpson historically gained his 2,000th yard in 1973, the Jets were transforming Shea into a very special place once more. New Yorkers were still fighting the hangovers obtained from the dramatic Giant victory 24 hours before. And suddenly they would be partying all over again because it was time for another big play in the Big Apple. Johnny Lamb Jones streaked down the right sideline with 47 seconds left to play in the half, and the rest was history. The Jets suddenly blew open a tight game and led 21-3. All it took was a quick count and a perfect toss by Richard Todd. An excellent concentration by Johnny Lamb Jones. The Jets outgained the Packers 219 yards to a mere 54 in the first half. Indeed, they had come a long way since the early weeks of the season when they were blown out in their first 3 games. Up by 18 with 30 minutes to play, they stared the playoffs in the face for the first time in over a decade.
Just in time for Mother's Day, Zales has a great selection of diamonds for just...
All of the third quarter and most of the fourth would be ruled by the Jet and Packer defenses. Hard-hitting, chilling winds, and brute force made scoring impossible. The vaunted Packer passing attack was bottled up, and big plays by the Pack D froze the score at 21-3 on a frozen scoreboard in front of nearly 60,000 frozen fans. 5.5 minutes remained, and the Jets had the game won. Still not a solitary fan left the stadium. They were bathing in playoff bliss. Fans wearing paper bags earlier in the season had been transformed into hard-nosed New Yorkers and hard hats. For those who waited it out in the cold, there came the final New York hurrah in a New York weekend to end all New York weekends. Wesley Walker, number 85, finished this grand day with a 38-yard touchdown catch that made the score New York 28, Green Bay 3. It was time to uncork the champagne and then study the Buffalo Bill game films, because the Jets had earned a playoff spot and the right to host the Bills in the AFC wildcard game on the following Sunday. Another clutch toss by Todd and a great catch of a low ball by speedy Wesley Walker. As the jubilant Jets prepared to dance the night away, the Packers were left with hollow thoughts of what might have been. They have reason to be proud, for by virtue of their strong finish, they were in the playoff chase for the full 16 weeks and can now look optimistically towards next season. On this day, they were simply done in by big plays and a big rush. All that was left for Jet fans was to watch the clock wind the time down and to watch their prize group of pass rushers suffocate Lynn Dickey one final time. Finally, one of the most fantastic weekends in the history of New York sports came to an end. The Giants are in the playoffs and will travel to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. The Jets are in the playoffs to face yet another New York team, the Buffalo Bills. There is no doubt that the Empire State will be well represented in postseason play. And who knows, maybe there will even be a Giant Jet Super Bowl. If this is how New Yorkers celebrate when their teams earn a playoff spot, how do you suppose they'd celebrate an all-New York Super Bowl? It would probably be like experiencing 100 Walt Frazier jump shots, 50 Reggie Jackson home runs in September, and a citywide blackout, all at one time.